Okay, we're going to look at now trig when you have coordinates. So basically here's how it works. You're going to be given a coordinate, and let's say we'll just use x, y in general. And what's going to happen is, if you look down below, r is going to represent your hypotenuse. So x would be your distance on the x side, y was going to be your length on the y side. Based off of that, you can use Pythagorean theorem to get your radius. And so if you look down here at the bottom, we have r squared equals x squared plus y squared. And if you take it the square root and solve for r, you get r equals the square root of x squared plus y squared. Now up above, we have our trig ratios. Sine is going to be y over r. And notice down here, I didn't put where my angle is that we're talking about. Usually the angle, when we're working with the coordinate plane, is just going to come off the x-axis, whether it's the positive or the negative x. And notice, when we're talking about sine here, sine is y over r, but this is still opposite over hypotenuse. So you're not really changing the roles, you're just labeling it a little bit different. Cosine of theta is x over r, tangent of theta, y over x. And then you also have the reciprocal functions. Okay, so what we have here is we're going to find the trig functions for the angle that has a terminal side that goes through the coordinates negative 5, 12. So first thing you probably want to do is draw your coordinate plane. So it doesn't have to be exact, but negative 5, positive 12 is going to put us over in quadrant 2. So the angle is probably going to be somewhere out here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a reference angle, and I'm going to make a triangle. So this is now my reference triangle, is what it's called. So we're looking at all of that, and there's our reference angle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to label my sides. I know my x side is negative 5, and my y side is 12. Now, even though it's negative, you still want to end up leaving it negative, because since we're in quadrant 2, anything that has an x value is going to end up being negative. So that means cosine, secant, tangent, and cotangent are going to end up being negative, since we're working with all 4 quadrants. So to find your radius, I'm going to do r equals the square root of 12 squared plus negative 5 squared. And when you clean that up, you get r equals 13. So my radius is 13. Now to get the trig function, now it's pretty easy. So I'm going to have sine theta is equal to y over r, which y in this case was 12. My radius is 13. Cosine would be x over r, my x is negative 5, my radius is 13. And for tangent, I get y over x, which is 12 over negative 5. For the reciprocals, just flip it. Reciprocal is sine, cosecant, and that will be 13 over 12. And just because you flip the fraction doesn't mean it's going to go from negative to positive or vice versa. Secant would be negative 13 over 5, and cotangent will be negative 5 over 12. And so there's your 6 trig functions.